Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo taking a break from his Doctor Who marathon listen. Season 11 was a little bit rough for me, however, season 12, wow. This is super duper promising. Regardless, that is not what we're here to talk about today because ColorCL is actually about to drop a new collection centered all around chocolate. Now, as channel tradition dictates, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my naked brown eyes while I read you the stats. The base curve is 8.6 millimeters, the diameter is 14.2 millimeters. These will last you for 6 months upon opening, and prescription is available at no additional cost. So the Choco collection actually launches June 3rd, and as always, ColorCL loves to have themselves a little bit of a launch event. So from the 3rd all the way up to June 24th, these will actually be available for $13.50 a pair. However, after that, they will go back up to $15 a piece. But as always, you can try and use code ROB10 to get 10% on top of that $13.50. Still don't know if it works. Nobody's told me down in the comments below. ColorCL hasn't told me, mainly because I've been too busy to reach out to them. But listen, use that code, see what you can save, and also if you like my videos, go ahead and bookmark the affiliate link down below. It really helps out the channel. Okay, so let's have a quick chat about construction before we take a look at each of the individual colors, because this collection actually contains 2 different styles. The first one is very simple. This one contains dark Choco as well as ruby Choco. It's basically a single toned hydrocore lens, which means that it has no limbal ring whatsoever. Now, of course, there is enough of an opacity shift in there where you can see a little bit of your own limbal ring through the actual contact lens itself. However, it's not as intense as something like the iris lenses, which are basically almost transparent at the edge. You're only going to see a slight shift in the gradient. In addition to that, there are actually different striations that let your own natural color shine through from underneath, which can be a negative or a positive depending on your own eye color. Now, not to bury the lead, the second style is actually my favorite of the 2. It's very similar to the first, where it has all of those striations and a little bit of texture built in, but the main thing that they've added is it's actually a duotone lens. So what you'll notice a little bit closer to the center of the eye is this kind of like warm brown ring that gradiates into the rest of the color and brings a little bit more warmth and dimension instead of having like a single flat color. It just gives a little bit more oomph. You need a little bit more richness and dimension to the color, and that's what we like in chocolate, right? Having a complexity of flavors in your mouth, except this time it's in your eye. So let's kick things off with dark Choco. Now, usually during these talkie portions, I like to slip in the contacts so you can see how they look under artificial lighting. However, as you can probably tell by these close-ups, yeah, these don't necessarily do anything to my own natural eye color. And I do really want to stress that it is a very personal thing to me, and that's mainly because my own eye tone is like a dark browny reddy tone, so laying this over doesn't really do too much. However, I think that these would be perfect for somebody trying to deepen their eye color if they have, let's say, hazel eyes, light brown eyes, or maybe even slightly greeny eyes, because I could see these being kind of like a neutral brown overlay to create a little bit more richness and depth, while their own eye color kind of brightens it up from behind. That could be a really cool kind of combo in and of itself. But me specifically, and if you guys share the same eye color as I do or something very similar, now we're aware that maybe dark Choco isn't for us. Me personally, I don't really like dark chocolate, so I guess it just goes hand in hand. Moving along to a far more interesting shade, we have Ruby Choco. Now, for those of you guys who are unaware, there's actually something called Ruby Cacao, which is a naturally occurring bean that creates kind of like a pinky reddy type of chocolate that has like this delicious tang to it. I've got bars of it before. Haagen-Dazs has it in one of their ice creams. It's super duper yummy. If you haven't tried it, definitely go out and take a look for it. But when it comes to these contact lenses, these ones are also equally interesting because they're a little bit of a mindfuck. Now, when you take a look at them in the close-ups, they don't really seem to be doing too much to my own natural eyes, just gives a little bit of a red sheen over them. And as you guys know, my eyes are naturally kind of like browny reddy, so it doesn't do that much. However, it's when you get into artificial light where these things actually shine. I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually stepped into the bathroom and I was looking at these contact lenses. I was like, you have the same contacts in, right? Like, you didn't swap them out. You weren't playing around with a different one. Like, this is the same one, right? Because that kind of like reddy tone mixes in with the brown of my eyes, because while my eyes are brown red, they still do have a little bit of like orangey warmth to them, and they created this cool like deep rich kind of like coral tone, and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. However, there is one place that they totally fall apart in both categories. As you guys can see by the close-ups, a little bit of that red is kind of leaking onto the whites of the eyes. It's something that I could also see when the direct bathroom lights, because I have these big ones that are like lined up and they shine right into my eyes, I could still definitely see that pronounced red ring. Now, some people might totally be into that aesthetic, but me personally, if they did this kind of like ruby Choco tone in a halo version with like a dark brown limbo ring, oh my god, I think that that would be a really big hit. However, here where it's kind of just like floating on its own with that red kind of like tone spilling into the sclerella of the eye, I don't know if that's enough to win me over, but I'm giving y'all ideas for your next contact lens. I'm just saying, it's a cool tone. Okay, so we're officially moving on to the second construction style of the series with Milk Choco. Now, as you guys remember, this is a duotone, and it has a little bit more warmth in the center, and it blends in seamlessly with the rest of the color. Now, let me tell you right now, Milk Choco is the perfect neutral brown. If you guys have been looking for something that isn't too reddish, isn't too orangey, isn't too goldy, but just sits perfectly right in the middle and is a nice brightening medium tone brown, this is definitely it. In fact, I do want to also point out, because there are other browns in other series that they've had which do almost make you look a little brown gray, while this does have a brightening effect to the eye, you still can tell it is definitely a brown. And I really think that it perfectly encapsulates milk chocolate. You know what I mean? It's just not too deep. It's kind of like this sweet middle section of deliciousness that I just absolutely love. So if you're looking for something to kind of neutralize your own natural tones just a little bit, this is definitely going to be the shade for you. And let me tell you, I kind of freaking love it. Just like milk chocolate. And y'all know I had to save the very best for last, which is of course white choco. Now me personally, I'm a big white chocolate fan. So I was very curious when I saw the description. I was like, could it be a gray lens? Are they making gray lens? Is that a gray lens that you're putting out for me? And guess what? It friggin' is, but it's not a typical gray lens. As many of you guys know, a lot of the ones that we see out there in the market are either very neutral grays, which don't get me wrong, I absolutely love grays that stay gray and are very truly gray, and then sometimes we get the grays that swing a little bit blue, which y'all know I like a little bit less. However, these ones, oh, they capture my heart, because like I was saying with the duotone, they mix in a little bit of like this brown century base, and it kind of blends in with the rest of the tone. So this, I would kind of like describe it as dried concrete that somebody has like walked over with their dirty shoes just a little bit, and they got some like soil on it, but like soil that's like dried out, you know what I mean? How like mud gets lighter when it's all dry. That's like the tone that I'm trying to say. It's like a beigey, almost sandy tone, but not quite. It's like you mix sand with the concrete, you get what I'm saying? And we don't get very many of those tones from ColorCL, and I wish it was something that we saw more. Now, as many of you guys know, I am a gray connoisseur, so I am going to level out some criticisms, even though this is my favorite contact lens of the bunch, because we can all have better gray lenses, right? Who can't? I wish that the brown in this was a little bit browner, and I wish the gray was just slightly deeper, kind of like somebody misted the concrete that we were talking about earlier, and like a little sprinkler was like off to the side, and a little bit of a breeze carried over some of that moisture, so it kind of deepened and richened the tone a little bit, because y'all know I like my grown and sexy. However, these still remain eye-catching. These still look very gray with a slight hint of sandy brown in them, and I really, really freaking love these ones. But little tweaks, and it could be perfect. You know, it's the moon in Virgo in me. What are you gonna do? Like, I just gotta nip. I mean, I love you. Alrighty, and that brings my review of the Siesta Original Choco Edition to a close. Now, as you guys can probably tell, my highly suggested are going to be the Milk Choco as well as the White Choco. Oh, They were both absolutely delicious. However, if you guys are looking for something a little bit different and have eyes bigger than mine, I know it sounds really strange, but as y'all are fully aware, I do have one wonky eye, which makes the whole like red bleeding into the whites of the eye a little bit more obvious for me. So if your eyes are a little bit bigger and can handle these contacts better, I would almost suggest checking out the Ruby Choco because they are just different enough in different lights to make them a really interesting and unique pickup for anybody's collection. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and bookmark my affiliate link down in the description box below, just in case you want to help out the channel, or if you want to save yourself a little bit of cash, use code ROB10 at checkout over at ColorCL in order to get 10% off of your order. So that about does it for me for now, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and wash your goddamn hands. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!